He starred in The Outsiders and in the hit TV series The West Wing. Now, since he was a teenager, actor Rob Lowe has been a household name. Now, in his brand new book, Stories I Only Tell My Friends, he tells readers about the ups and downs of his life through his eyes. Take a look. And joining us now is the one and only Rob Lowe. Stories I Only Tell My Friends. Very nice to meet you. How are you?
It's great to meet you, Sean.
I love the title of this book.
Thank you.
Stories I Only Tell My Friends, because there are certain things that I only tell certain special people in my life.
Right.
All right, except they're not Charlie Sheen. They're not Sean. By the way, Sean Penn's a lunatic. I don't care how nuts Sheen is. Sean Penn's a left-wing lunatic. You know that.
Somebody told me that he didn't put his hand on his heart for the national anthem.
Yeah, I heard that.
Is it true?
I only read it. I didn't see it.
Listen, he's a great actor, and actually, if you met him, you actually, I'm telling you,
we'd become friends.
You would spar heavily, but you would find him really bright.
First of all, two things interested me about you. Number one, you found sobriety and you've been sober for 20 years. Do you mean completely?
21 this week, but who's counting?
All right, 21 years this week. How in that environment in Hollywood are you able to do that? Because I got to assume that that's not easy.
I don't think staying sober in Hollywood is necessarily much harder than anywhere else. Sobriety is something that you work on, and for me, it's been a lifesaver and a life changer. I did make different choices once I got sober to sort of help me live my new life, and one of them was moving out of Hollywood and focusing on my family and things like that.
But you moved north to Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
When Charlie Sheen, and I'm not going to divulge in any way, I actually had a text little battle going back and forth with him. I got his number. I texted him.
Yeah, oh good.
And then we started texting a little bit. Then he stopped when I started really hitting him with some truth. And I felt like he's just not ready. Now, you're sober 21 years.
Right.
Here's your friend that you're watching implode. You tell a really fascinating story how a lot of actors ended up in the Sheen's house, and there was a group of you, very competitive, but you were all supportive of each other. Yeah. And so my question to you is, when you see a friend of yours, after you've had your battles, imploding publicly like this, is there anything you can do to help this guy?
Well, I talk about this in the book, about what my relationships, these are the people that I grew up with when I was 13. We all have these people in our lives, people that you may go years without talking to, and then when you see them, you're right back to where you were. I still reach out to Charlie. I love him very much. He knows I'm worried about him. He knows we agree to disagree on the best way to stay sober and get sober. He's living life his own way now.
The other thing is, I know you talk about it in the book, otherwise I wouldn't bring it up, but the sex tape, which I forget what year it was, but that was really a wake-up call for you.
Yeah, oh, totally.
And you never want to be, you said something to the effect you don't want to be the first.
I said being a trailblazer was overrated.
Yeah, it's because I think you said you went into seclusion after that. That really traumatized you.
Yeah.
Because there was an underage girl that you met in a nightclub where you had to be 21.
Oh, yeah, they grilled me on my age, so I figured, everybody in there was grilled like I was, and everybody was,
So it wasn't something you did. All right, but it also woke you up.
Yeah.
So that was bottom for you?
Well, it was a year later, actually. I mean, that was the beginning of me questioning what I was doing with my life. And then finally, at the end for me was, my grandfather had gotten very ill. I was unable to be there for him in the way that I wanted to because of my condition. And
were you drunk all the time?
No, I was
functioning.
Highly functioning, and never when I worked.
All right, you were pretty liberal. You knew you weren't coming on the show and getting away with it.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, so you were pretty liberal. He supported Mike Dukakis.
I can always pick a winner, Sean.
Now you sound like Bob Beckel. But you changed a little bit. You're now a registered independent.
Yes.
So why is Hollywood so liberal?
Well, first of all, I think it has a long tradition of being a highly democratic town. You get that perspective sort of over and over and over and over. And, one of the great things about Hollywood liberals is their passion and their ability to stand out and really try to get things done. You can agree or disagree, but they're very, very vocal. And I admire, and I think it's a good thing.
When I think of the old days of Hollywood, Ronald Reagan, granted he wasn't at the top of the act, Jimmy Stewart, Bob Hope, and all the work that he did for the troops, I don't really sense that that duty to country that we felt when we were growing up, or in my parents' generation.
Well, listen, I mean, I could give you the names. I mean, you have Gary Sinise, who works tirelessly.
He's a friend of mine.
Right, and Gary's one of the great guys, and there's so many others. But here's what I think. I think that artists build their art around empathy. Mm-hmm. I think that liberal politics is built on empathy. Mm-hmm. I think conservative politics, from my opinion, is built on
common sense,
logic.
Mm-hmm.
And logic and empathy, it's like left brain, right brain stuff. So I just think naturally empathetic artists are drawn to that.
Well, listen, congratulations on your career. More importantly, it's really nice to get a kind of refreshing Hollywood story. You know, you love your family, your kids, and also, to be totally honest, is a lot of fun. Tell Sean Penn I said hi.
I will. Thank you.
And good luck with Charlie Sheen.
Thank you.
Now, before